Welcome everybody to the new guys. I hope you are, settled down. You've got some coffee and something to keep you going for the rest of the afternoon. To all the guys from Tuesday, welcome back. Now, if you were with us on Tuesday, I did have a very quick file that I had to get out. Very serious deadlines for SARS. We know how that's going this week for people. I do apologize in advance for that stress. But thanks to Draftworx, I was lucky enough to get a piece of cake. I mean, it's the size of my head, but thank you to Mr. Kofi and Pumi for sending me some delicious cake that I can enjoy while working on Draftworx. So guys, today we are covering some advanced topics. I hope you are all settled in, have some coffee. We have got a ride of notes ahead of us today. So I am going to switch my camera off. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. So what we are covering today are a couple of our basic topics, okay? And I still have some secret tips and tricks hidden in between so that we can cover. Now, on Tuesday, I did disclose a few settings issues. So, of course, we had administration. If you did miss me on Tuesday, please don't fret. We have got the videos uploaded onto YouTube, so catch it, see what it's about, and you can take it from there. Now, in terms of settings and the file locations and where we said we would store, I just want to remind everyone, I said I would show you. So again, with my profile settings, and when I am ready, I need to just go and set up my locations. So remember, your local, you would keep clear your server clients. You're going to go find the file location should you have a physical server and go set up that so that you are able to store all your files on your server that you can share amongst each other. Now, for our auditing firms and accounting firms alike, please also note archived clients is quite a crucial one because this is where you can store the archived versions in cases with your Urba reviews, with the 60-day shutdown, closing off of your file. So again, it's just a matter of find the location where you can store it. The templates folder, please always leave that blank unless otherwise specified. But that's all we're going to cover today with the settings. Now, as you'll see, I've got my server and I do have my WebSync. So I do need to log into WebSync. And while I'm logging into WebSync, just a disclaimer again, I know I did cover it on Tuesday, but for those that weren't present, please just note currently our WebSync service is not charged at a fee. It was created back in 2020 when, COVID hit and we had to come up with a way for everyone to work remotely. So we know we have users that love and use us. We are looking at charging a fee. The ETA has not been given to us. Okay, we are still working on what the potential price structure will be. But we are not going to just throw you off the edge of a cliff and be like, here's an invoice. Okay, we will give you well advanced notice. And we also have a plan in motion for a tier that enables you to have sufficient storage before charging. Okay, so we will give you well advanced notice. So please don't panic. Don't worry about it. We will let you know. Now, WebSync just lets me work basically from anywhere in the world, but being able to see my colleagues' files. Okay, so remember, I can now do collaboration, work remotely, go to an audit firm, do all of that. Okay, so I've got all of my locations set up. Now, what I want to do is cover a couple of these buttons because they do come in handy when I need to do something. So just jumping back to my local for this one. Now, I've got a file here. It's ABC Limited, and I really like it. And I've got a fellow subsidiary, BCD. And basically, I just want to copy this file so that I have an exact replica. So I can do that within my actions. I'm going to go actions, create a client copy. And from here, I'm basically going to go and rename it. So we'll go BCD Limited and copy my client. And what do you know? There it is, added to my client list. Now, I've also got the instances where somebody needs a backup of my file. Now, we've got a lovely feature where we can back up and restore, and you don't have to do too much except 1 or 2 clicks here or there. So my Bruco PTY that we did on Friday that Humi managed to send me, how I managed to get that file was simply by him going actions, create a client backup, and he would have stored it somewhere. So I'll just stick it to my desktop so that I can find it quicker. Otherwise, we'll be looking for days. And then all we go ahead and do is say actions, restore a client backup, go and find said desktop. And I'll see, okay, there we go. 2025 Brico. You can see it looks like a zipped file. Do not unzip it. Keep it zipped. Keep that backup. Simply stay open. And you'll go and just update the name again as to how you want to store it on your side. And there I've now got my backup file. Now, I know we had a slight new feature since the beginning of the year. Well, it's not a new feature, it's kind of changed. So we obviously enabled files to be renamed on the face of your client list. And it used to be in the logo over here, and it was said clients rename. We have subsequently changed it. So I just want to find a file that I'm going to rename. So this cash flow third year trading, I just wanted to say cash flow third year. How do I edit the name or rename it? You'll see this lovely little logo here. There's a square with an arrow in it. If you click on that, it will now enable you to go and change the name. If you double click in the name, it is going to prompt to open your file. So just click on it once, edit how you need it to be, press enter. Are you sure you want to change it? Yes, I am. Thank you very much for asking. And I can then go and turn it off again. So when it's got the A, your edit mode is on. When it's got the arrow, your edit mode is off. All right. Now, we've also got instances where, again, we're working in an industry where I've got files and I've got current year and the prior year, and I really don't want to accidentally work in the wrong file. Now, how do I go about in preventing that? Because I know what it's like. As Shane says, I've been using Draftworx for 14 years. I'm a teenager. Woo! Okay, jokes. But basically, how do I go ahead and prevent myself from accidentally working in that file? So I'm going to go to Access, and I'm simply going to tell the system that I would like ABC Limited to be enabled as a read-only file. Okay. It is going to ask us for a password, and that is simply because we need to make sure we are doing what we're supposed to. Now, our passwords are requested via an email to our lovely support team, and they will distribute accordingly. It is a security protocol we follow, so please, it's nothing against anyone that comes online asking for it and we can't give it to you. It's just a security measure. We just want to make sure we're giving you the correct passwords. So yes, I'm now logged in. You can see at the top here, it's telling me I'm a manager. Yay, upgraded in 2 seconds to manager role. Great. Do I want to enable this? Yes. So when I enable read-only mode, you're going to see a little eyeball over there. We're watching. No jokes. We're not Big Brother, but we're just making sure you know that it's read-only. What does read-only do for me? Even if I've got a password, okay, and I decide I want to go and change something, you're going to see I'm basically going to not be allowed to do that, okay? And that's because we've marked the file as read-only. So there's no buttons to click. They're all grayed out. I cannot change this. I'm logged in, which means I should be able to edit, and I'm not. So it simply prevents any unauthorized edits to a prior file that is going to obviously cause you trouble later down the line. All right, now I need to log in again for the next one because this is also a login required. So I'm going to log in again as a manager because we got upgraded very quickly there. Now, what happens when I want to lock a file completely. Now, read only enables me to view the file. Lock means absolutely no view access. So I'm now going to go and say, right, Bruco's 2025 file. It's been signed off. The auditors are happy and we done our rollover and all of that. And I actually just want to lock it. I don't want anyone accessing it. So again, access, lock the client. Are you sure? Yes. Password type, you'll see I'm going to just use my manager password. There's a drop down. You can use senior partner. Please be careful if you use explicit, because you need to make sure someone knows what that explicit password is so that you can have access to the file if it is needed. So I'm just going to lock it. Now, again, I'm logged in, so surely I should have access to things. I think it might let me in. Let me just check. Nope. This client is locked. Are you sure you want to open it? So, of course, as a manager, I can say yes. But if I was not a manager and I tried to lock or open it, it's going to tell me, sorry, Nicole went and locked the file. You need the password. Okay. So that's basically our accesses of copying, backing up, renaming the files, read-only, and locking. Now we get to an interesting one. We get to, well, Nicole, we were working on local. You've now introduced us to the server where we all can access, and of course, WebSync, right? So if I go back to my WebSync, we see there's my WebSync files. What happens if, I know I mentioned it on Tuesday, but what happens if I need to move a file from, say, my server to WebSync because that's where the main storage is, or from local to WebSync because I took it offline, we were going to have no internet for the day, I wanted to carry on working. How do I transfer between any one of these locations? And it's as simple as this. If I go to my server clients, I'm just going to use server today for an example, and I see, okay, I need to now go tell or put this file back onto WebSync for everybody to have access to it. So I go select it. Remember, when we select, we like to see the blue line go through it so we know it's been selected. And I'm simply going to look at this button here that says transfer. And I can either book it out to my local. So that is what you would do to move a file to your local. I can book it into WebSync if I want to transfer it to WebSync. So let's transfer this one to my WebSync file location. And it's simply going to give me that little sign up here. I can see at the bottom left-hand side, it is doing a little bit of magic on the side there. So when that's running, you know it is busy working in the background. So just give it a moment and it will do the whole transfer. Now, once we've got our files transferred, remember what it's going to actually effectively also do for me, and we'll see what it looks like on my server once the file is completely transferred, is it now makes the file on Web my live and current version that I am using, meaning it's the active engagement file. When I go back to my server, it's going to show me that it's got a read only or a lock. No, it's got a lock, okay? So in other words, it's telling me, Nicole, this file is somewhere else, i.e. you have moved it to a different location. And why do we lock it when we transfer between the different servers? Simple. I wouldn't want to go and move a file to WebSync, have everybody work on it, but then I'm updating my file that I moved, and then just go overwrite everybody's changes. So again, just a security protocol that we have in place that we want to kind of keep at that level. Okay, so this is just transferring to my WebSync. Just wanted to go through. It's taking a little bit longer today than normal, but just give me a second. I want to quickly jump to my other screen. Just open something else for us. So basically that's going to enable all my files to move to WebSync. Now what I want to kind of have a look at, and once it's transferred over, we'll jump back, is a very important process. So I know I've been talking about this whole concept of archiving files, okay? Now, if you have your local or your server files, and you need to archive one of those. Okay. How we go about in doing that option is the following. I'm going to go and I'm going to say, all right, I want to archive server file 5. No, sorry, I'm going to do server client 1 because this one is already read-only. So how do I do a process of archiving without it being on WebSync? We're going to cover WebSync's archiving in a moment, but how do I do it if I have a server? And it's as simple as this. I go select my file, I give it an action, and I can see, ooh, I can archive a client. So now I'm going to archive. Am I sure? Yes. Okay. Now it's taken me to my archived clients location. So I see, great. There's my archive server file 5. Okay. It's been archived today. Awesome. Great. No need to do anything further to it. Go look at my server clients. And he is not on the list anymore. And that's simply because when we archive, we're completely removing it from your client list. Okay. Now, what happens if, for example, that this file, archive 1, was actually meant to be, now a audit file that I need to roll over? Because, of course, now it's archived. So what do? I go and I say, okay, I'm going to select my file and I'm going to say actions. And you'll see I have the ability to store it to my local. So if I was working off of local, I'd restore it back there, or I can restore to my server. But now, surely if I restore it, does that mean it is going to affect my archived file and open it up and open me up to Urba investigations because of the 60-day rule? No. You'll see server client 1. I'm going to restore to my server. Okay. Now I see server client 1 and it's marked as a read-only. When you've got a file as a read-only, you are able to access the file, roll it over. When you roll it over, it will be not read-only mode, and you can proceed doing your audit work without having gone and broken that seal. All right, let's just see if my WebSync transfer has taken place. Which one's this one? And there we go. Now on my WebSync clients, I see I've got my WebSync series archive 1. Oh, sorry, it was this one. My server transferred to WebSync. And you'll see now my server transferred to WebSync has been locked. Why? Again, I don't want to work on this file while my teammates are working on WebSync, and I overwrite their work. So we lock it. Now let's have a look at how do we archive in WebSync. So this is a new change that we have brought about in WebSync, and you're going to notice it does require a few permissions. Again, reason being is there is a little bit of a security level to this, and I'll explain it as we go through it. All right. So now I'm going to say, let's say my archive new file. I want to archive on my WebSync archived clients list. So how do I do that? Because my WebSync archived clients list is not connected to my servers, my computer anyway. It is a cloud archive location. So what do? I go to actions. Can't do anything there. Can I view my WebSync archive clients? No, I can't. It requires a manager login. The reasoning here, guys, is because of the severity of archiving audit files and unarchiving audit files, it does require just that extra layer of security. So yes, I do need to log in to perform this function. Okay, now that I've logged in, I should hopefully be able to view my archive list. So let's see. There we go. I now have access to WebSync archived clients. Okay, so how do I actually now do the archive? So very, very similar to what we did on a standard server. I go actions. Now I see, haha, I can archive. So I'm going to archive the new file. Okay. Are you sure? Well, yes, I am. Don't want to get into trouble with anybody. So I'm going to go in, do the reCAPTCHA, and I'm going to archive. Right. Okay. Oh, this is stressful. I've got my file archived. Awesome. Now we've met the quota for the 60 days. Everybody's happy. Woo-hoo, we all get cake, very tasty cake. And again, WebSync clients don't see my file. Okay, so we've completely removed it from your active engagements and we've archived it. But now it comes time we've got to do the audit next year because you know how it goes. Audits never end. We do them 1 year, rinse. What did I say the other day? Wash, rinse, and repeat. So now I've got to do the audit again. So WebSync archive clients. Okay, now I'm going to explain how to do this. Actions. I see two options. Now, again, we're at a fork in the road. Which option do I go for? So if I tell a file to restore as a copy, what this basically is going to do for me is it is going to keep the file in WebSync like our archived process should do. Okay. And it's basically going to now send a copy version of my file to my active engagements as a read-only file so that I can roll the file over and proceed with next year's audit instead of having to unlock a file just to do that process. So I'll keep it called copy just so we can see. Okay. Very interesting named clients that I have here. But yes, we're going to keep it as a copy because I'm going to show you the other way. So remember fork in the road? Right now we've gone the right side of our road. We're going to look at what's left. Okay, I just needed to do its copy and then we'll be able to move that file across. So just remember with archiving, the reason for the login is because of that very lovely 60-day Uber rule. I know it is sometimes problematic, but it is just for your safety. While we're on the topic of audit files, we're also going to have a look at how we do delegations, because this also revolves around uploading files, restoring files, and how they are working. Okay. Let me quickly jump into a delegation while that's busy copying. So I received a delegation. Now, again, someone sent me a file. It's just given me a part that I can work on. How do I go about in restoring my delegation? Sorry, my WebSync, obviously my internet's a little bit slow today. My bad. As soon as he's up and running, we'll just jump back into WebSync. But I've now been given a delegation file. So I need to go work on a very specific component. So you'll see, of course, we've got the transfer buttons. We've got delegation buttons. Now, when it comes to delegation, I can book in a delegation. So yes, a colleague gave me a file to book in. So I'm going to say book in my delegation. And I'm going to go find where that delegation file is. And there you'll see webinar delegation. Yes, this is what I need to work on. So I'm going to open it. I'm not going to delete that yet, just in case I need to do something or something broke. So when you see on your file sides over here, a circle with a downward arrow, it implies that that is a delegated file. Okay, that means it's not a complete file. It's sections of a file that needs to be returned to a master file. Now, let me open my delegation and see what I've got. Now, when I've got my delegation files, I would obviously go work on all the work, but you'll see I don't have financial statements here. And it's simply because someone has only delegated a particular section to me. So I see, oh, all I have access to is my asset register. So I need to go do work on the asset register. Great, go correct it. I might need to go process journals. So I can go process journals. I can go do a review and say it was prepared by me. Not a problem. Okay. But what happens, and this does come up a lot in our support, is if I'm working in a delegation file, I have easily able to go and create a new journal. So I can say new journal and I can go press enter and it tells me, ooh, you cannot do that because I need to reference it to a file that is in my delegation. So I'll say, oh, okay, let me reference my journal first. So there's a little gray block if you click on the reference. I can then go and tick where I'm referring this journal to. And now I can go say new journal and I can then go and process my journal. When I return this file to my colleague, they will have my journal. Okay. So if you do see a little error message pop up, just note that you are only able to journal 2 documents that you have been delegated. Okay, so let's jump out of this delegation file and jump back to our client list and see if my WebSync has archived. Yes, there we go. So there's my WebSync file copy as a read only. If I go look at my WebSync archive files, there is my file still archived. Nothing's happened to it. However, we said we had a fork in the road. We did the right side. Let's look at the left side. Your actions. If I say restore archive client, you are going to get this confirmation. So basically, if I confirm the restore, and I'm not going to because I see that my WebSync is being a bit slow and it's my internet, so I do apologize. If I go and say yes, this will basically take away the fact that it was archived. So it'll look like a live file and it might cause trouble with that 60-day rule. So please be careful if this is audit files, not to do it this way. Rather do the copy. Always make sure you are choosing the correct one when you are doing that process of archiving. Great. Last one in terms of transfers and delegations before we dive into the fun stuff. I know this is a lot and sometimes it does get a bit tricky, but the next one that I want to highlight, and while I highlight it, I do want to give them a shout out. So we are hosting our cloud webinars for next week, Tuesday and Thursday. I can assure you they're going to be electric. So please join up if you'd like to see, if you are interested in seeing your cloud, please have a looky. We'd love to see you there. Now, I have an instance where, okay, I do have Draftworx Cloud, but I've now had to move to desktop because, I don't know, I needed more files or for whatever reason. Okay, now how do I actually get my information from cloud without having to redo all the work and start from scratch? Don't fear, we've got your back. So yeah, where we had that transfer button, you would have seen I had an option here that said download from Draftworx Cloud. So if I say download from Draftworx Cloud, I'm going to put in my login details for my Draftworx Cloud account and hopefully get the right password today. And if I'm registered for more than one practice, you will see that I need to go and choose my respective practice that I have my files stored on or that I would like to pull from cloud. Now you'll see I have an extra location, cloud clients. So all these clients that you see here are actually sitting on my cloud account. And I say, great, I would like Draftworx cloud demo PTY limited to, well, no, let me choose a smaller file, otherwise we'll be here all day with my internet. I would like demo 9 July to please download straight into desktop for me. That's the one I want to work on. I don't want to redo any of my work. So now how do I get it? Do I go into the file? What do I do? No. Again, you select it, you go to transfer, and you can choose download to your local, download to your server. So I'm going to download demo 9 July and just follow that whole copy process. And this will enable me to now have my setup, my trial balances, my financials identical to what I had in cloud. And I don't have to redo all that work. I could just carry on or roll forward and then carry on. Okay. So you'll see now there's my demo 9 July. And that wasn't too bad. It was quite easily able to get access to it. Okay. All right. Now, in terms of your delegations, so I showed us how we could restore a delegation, but I want to jump onto my WebSync because I do have a WebSync file there that is obviously my master file. So this is the master file where someone would have delegated me a file. Now I'm going to say, all right, let's go have a look at something. So we go into the delegation file or our live master file that everyone is working from. And we are going to have a little squiz at something a bit different. So in that delegation file that I had, you could see I could quite easily go create a journal as long as I had the corresponding working paper to link it to. Okay. However, let's have a look at my master. So you can see, oh, I can now see financials. Okay, there's all my other programs. It's grayed out. Why is it grayed out? Because it has been delegated out. So when you see that dark thunderous gray, it just means it's delegated to somebody. I can go look at my delegation section under client setup, and I can go and see, well, who was delegated. Okay, there we go. Nicole has had that delegated. She hasn't returned it yet. Let's have a look and see what I can do in my file. You know what? I just realized that there was a journal that I posted and I actually need to go correct it. So that journal that I need to go and correct so happens to be the one that is related to my fixed asset cycle, which has already been delegated out. So you'll see that if I try and select the depreciation one, where it says audit programs, Draftworx X file, and that's the one that's been delegated to Nicole, I don't see a way of editing. It's been locked. And that's simply because if I edit this, but so did Nicole, we're going to have two conflicting overrides. So we lock it until it's restored into your main file. Yeah, you can see my additions. I can go and do whatever I need to do and say, okay, yes, I can process a journal. Great. Okay. So just keep that in mind with your delegation files. I am going to just show us how to do a delegation. I will jump into a file in a second for you guys, and then we will just do a mini delegation. Then we're going to see some fun stuff happening. Can't wait to show it off. So let me just find my lovely delegation file for you. When I find it, oh, there it is. Okay, so now how did I end up with a delegated file? And the way I ended up with the delegated file was this. My senior would have gone to client setup. They would have gone to delegation, and they would have said, okay, sorry, I chose the wrong file. My bad. Apologies, guys. That's what happens when we name the same file the same thing. Let's find it. Oh, there we go. Audit client files to delegate. That's what happens when you name them the same thing. You get confused. Clearly the cake. All right, sorry. So client setup, delegation, right. Now you can see I've got a whole audit engagement file or a whole accounting file, and I want to delegate sections out. How do I do a delegation? So I'm going to go and say, all right, I'm going to select this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'm going to tell it to delegate to Nicole. And yes, I am going to delegate the file out. Again, you need to just go save it somewhere. And those files have now been delegated out. Okay. Nicole would then receive that, and she would then return her delegation on the main screen. So again, Nicole's going to go to her main screen, and she is going to go to her delegation here, and she's going to say, return delegation. I'm going to save that in my little folder pack here. So many packs. Okay, so now no longer have my delegated file, and I go and I have a look for it. Okay, we'll go back one. Oh, goodness, me and the new Windows. And now you can see I have my delegation file. This is what I would give to my senior, and then she will basically go and say in her delegation file to return the delegation. Now, to return my delegation, I would just hit the delegation return, and that will just clear your delegation, put the files back in, no problem. Now, let's have a look at some of those options where we're talking about our, ones that we work with. So I've got, for example, a trial balance, and it is on either QuickBooks, Sage, or Xero. So I'm going to log into my Sage account. So when you go to your financial data, you hit your working trial balance. I know we covered how to import from a spreadsheet, but of course we do cover pastel desktop options. We do also cover QuickBooks Desktop, but I have a nice little trick up my sleeve here. So QuickBooks, Sage, Xero, all the online ones. You're going to log in, okay? And here's where you're going to go and select the relevant company that you're working on. If you've got multiple, if there's only one, it will only show one, not a problem. Again, you can import into opening balances. I'm going to cover the monthly balances a little bit later, so don't stress. I can choose to automatically link after import. So I'm going to actually try that and see what it does. Because we went through that whole process of our linking where we have to manually do it. But I did say we have got some shortcuts, which is automatic and smart linking. So I'm going to use automatic, and I'm going to tell it to import from March to February. Yes. Okay. It is telling me just please check and confirm before proceeding. So I'll go and see, is everything linked? If I'm not 100% sure, I can always click on the word link to filter what's not been linked. And of course, it's Kate. So I would go and find an account, and I would then go and link it to my best possible match. So linked it to Cake. Now to show you what I wanted to show off with the direct linking, importing. So with direct, your QuickBooks and your Sage accounts, you are able to do the following. Right click an amount and choose the option drill down. This is going to show you a read into the general ledger while you're still in Draftworx. So I don't have to have two tabs open and wondering where the music's coming from. I can just see what the general ledger is, see what they processed, decide how I want to handle it. I did see something else that popped up when I right-clicked. So I see I've got an enable spell check. Now, if you were there on Tuesday, you know that I'm a terrible speller, or because I just type too fast. So if I enable spell check, what it basically helps me do is this. If I'm adding a trial balance entry and I go and want to add chocolate, and I press enter, it's going to tell me I have a spelling error. Okay, so I can go and say, oh yes, let me go see what it is. It'll just help me along the way. Okay, that is if you want to enable it. You don't have to. You can also, again, right click to disable, but there is a spell check option when creating your trial balance accounts. Right, that is our direct ports. And that does work for all your Xeros, your QuickBooks, and your Sage. But the drill down only on Sage and QuickBooks. Okay. Now let's get into the crux of the matter. So between today and Tuesday, dear Mr. Mochaccino sent our lovely CFO, Miss Cuppy Cake, a memo. And we've got a bit of work to do today, guys. So let me just get the memo up. So you'll see I've got a memo. I have to update the apps urgently for audit and a box of cookies. And there are quite a few items to get through. But I know that I can get through this quite quickly with Draftworx. So let's start tackling these issues. So we're going to go into our file we created the other day. Brew can do it. And my first question was, please can I split coffee and confectionaries? Notice they were combined. We need to show two separate income statements. So let's just open our trial balance and open our financials and see what Mr. Mochaccino meant. And I see, okay, detailed income statement. Oh, we have it on the same income statement. They want to show two different income statements. How am I going to do that? So in my trial balance, okay, I have the ability, so I'm just going to close my financials because I want to make a change here. In my financials, I can actually change my income statements, but I do it from the working trial balance because this was my backbone of my financial info. So here I see, okay, there's my coffee, there's my confectionaries. They're both going to income statements. How am I going to split this? Okay, where you see your type and your income statement, there is a drop down. I can go and select income statement 2. And obviously I want to keep the purchases there because we've got to keep the gross profit together. So I'll go and select the relevant income statement. Now let's see how has this affected my financial statements. Ooh, now I see I've got a detailed income statement 1, detailed income statement 2, but they all say detailed income statement 1 and 2. How do I change the name to actually point out which was which? So on your index, you'll go and scroll down a bit and you'll see there's detailed income statement 1. So this was our coffees. Okay, great. And this was our confectionery. Okay. Now I've renamed it here on my index. There we go. Detailed income statement, coffee. Detailed income statement, confectionaries. Right. So, okay. Point number 1 we've done. Please check why other income is only showing art. What does he mean? Other income art. I don't know. Let's have a look-see. So let's see what makes up art. So remember, we have our drill down on the left-hand side here. Income art, income decor. Oh, dear. Okay, so I need to split this because I want to see it separate. But remember, if we go back to what we said in linking, 250 was my umbrella. These would break it down. So now how do I kind of address this? Well, in this case, I'm like, okay, I need to split it. So I'm going to just find another link under other income. So I'm going to click the double-sided arrow here. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm not going to stick with a 250 in this case. I'm just going to find something else that I can maybe use because I know I can change my disclosure description. So I'm just going to opt for this one and say, what are we looking at? Oh, my day for hit. Okay. And I'm going to select it. Yes, I'm in the financials. Now I can see, yay, I've got what they wanted us to show. The split between decor and the split between art. Next one, he asked me, please make sure the cash notes show a detailed breakdown. How do I find the cash note quickly? Well, let's go to the balance sheet. Let's go and see. I've got cash and cash equivalents. Well, I see cash. It says on hand, balance with banks. Oh, they want the detailed breakdown of what my balance with bank is. So over here, under the notes, I'll see I've got an option called detail of cash and cash equivalent balances. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Frostings Limited. That is the name of the bank. I need to disclose that. And there I need to go and open up my cash on hand and also explain it, provide the detail. I think I'm making, Mr. Mochaccino happy. We shall see. Now he says I need to upload the bank statement and the fixed asset register to the file so they have access to the supporting documents. All right, and there's a sub-reference. Please reference and sign off your leads for bank and PPE. Now, how do I get my lovely little supporting documents here into my file? So there's a few ways to do this, and I learned a new trick recently, so I'm going to show it. So I'm going to do it two ways for everybody to notice. So one, I'm going to take my annexure and I will just take the memo. Okay. No, I can't take the memo because it's in use. Sorry. I'm just going to take the annexure and I'm going to drag and drop to working papers. Okay. There you'll see it's now in there. However, a new trick I've recently discovered, thanks to our awesome dev team, is this. I'm going to take my bank statement, hold in Control, take my asset register, and I'm simply going to say copy, Control C. Then I'm going to go to working papers and I'm going to right click and I'm going to tell it to paste the files. Now I can see there's my bank statement. There's my asset register. So, okay, we've successfully imported our documents, but now he said, what? Oh, sign off the leads for bank and PPE. So here are my lead schedules. Let's go to PPE first, and we're going to hyperlink it to, or cross-reference it to the actual asset register. Now, when it comes to cross-referencing, we do have a few ways to do this. Now, this option I'm going to show you is for cases where you're referencing the same document, but maybe multiple values. So I'm going to do what we call a target link. So you right-click, you say add as a hyperlink target. So I'm going to call this PPE1, okay? And you'll see at the bottom here now I've got targets. PPE1. For the coffee machine, I'm going to, again, right-click, add as a hyperlink target, and I'm going to call it PPE2. All right? And again, you can see it's now listing it down below. Now I'm going to go and open my asset register. And I want the auditors to see there's my 415,000. So that was my reference PPE1. So I go to targets, I go to PPE1, and I change it to a two-way hyperlink because you never know. The auditors might open the supporting document and then want to go back to my lead. So I want it two ways. So I go and give it a name for both, what on the target document as well as the source document. And I simply say, oh, sorry, PPE1. Okay, let me just make sure I get the right references here. And here's my coffee machine. I want them to see the 377. So there's my PPE2. Again, two-way hyperlink, PPE2, PPE2. and say okay. Now we all know, I'm just going to quickly highlight stuff, and I'm going to actually just close that just to show you exactly how it's going to work. So we closed while I was on the motor vehicles. I'm going to click on PPE2. And would you look at that? It's going to take me directly to my 377. Yes. Okay. I've done what I'm happy. If I go to my motor vehicles and I say PPE1, it's going to take me to my lead schedule. And he did ask me to please mark this as prepared. So I see I've got a prepared option there on your toolbar over here. You can just simply tell it to set as prepared. Okay, so lead 1 is done. Asset register is looking smashing. What was the next one? Our bank. So I'm just going to show you another way to hyperlink. So we go to cash and cash, get my bank balances. And here again, in the reference, I can also go to the shortcuts, hyperlinks, and I just go look for my bank statement, double click it. And there we go. Let's just see, are we at least balancing so we don't get into trouble with the auditors? Yep. Okay. Frostings 991842. Are we on the right one? 991842. Market is prepared. I think we're good to go with that. Great. We're moving through, guys. We're motoring. Please raise a journal for an addition to the coffee machine for additional parts for 20,000. They found an invoice dated on the 28th of February, which they forgot about. And please update the fixed asset register and AFS. Okay. And along with that, I need to create the journal working paper to review. All right, not a problem. So let's go raise a journal. Financial data, journal entries. I'm going to call this a normal adjusting, and we're going to go and call it additions coffee machine. And I'm going to press enter. Now remember, we do have the lovely little shortcut where I can reference to said document by clicking on that little option. And we obviously want to reference it to our asset register. Okay, so I double click, and I'm now going to go and raise the journal. So on the right-hand side, double-sided arrow. Let's just go and find our coffee machine. I'm going to add a 20,000. And yeah, so we found the invoice. So it's an accounts payable. I'm going to go and increase that for 20,000. Okay. What else did he say? Please make sure that that's agreeing. Okay. Now I think I have a problem. Let me have a look. I've got my content. I just want to make sure that what I'm doing, oh dear, I see I've got a problem. Now I've got a 20,000 difference. Why is my cash flow and PPE out? We'll have to come back to that, but I know for a fact that we just agreed our lead schedule to our supporting document, did we not? We did. So on my Excel, I just go and insert my information quickly. As we can see, your Excel documents are quite easily able to be updated. That in now I know that it is agreeing to my lead schedule. Let's just double check. 397, 397. Yes. Okay, that's corrected. Awesome. Right. Okay. Please create a journal working paper. All right, because now I've done a journal, the auditors need to review it. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to create a working paper over here, and I'm going to call it journals for review. Okay, go create my working paper, and I see, okay, I can now give it a title, so we can go and call it Journals for Review. Great. Now, does that mean I have to go and type the date, put coffee machine, go put the 20,000 here, the credit there, type all of this out? Not a chance. Remember, I'm lazy. I like to do things a quick way. So we have a shortcut. I'm going to go to Template Tools, and I see that I can do a journal link. So let me click on that. And I'm going to say, haha, there we go. I can pull in all my journals that I want them to review. So I do need to format it a bit, so you can just adjust your column widths if you want to by double clicking on the headings there. But I need to go and add the next one. So again, journal link, go select your next one. There we go. It's pulled through. When the auditors are looking at this, they can jump to my journal that I've done. And you know what? I actually need to sign these off. I've done them. So yeah, where it says e-review, you can mark your journals as signed off as prepared so that they know it was me that did it. Oh, there we go. Journals sorted, working papers done. Great stuff. We are really making progress. Now he says to me, for the going concern, I need to add a very specific disclosure. Goodness. Where is my going concern? Oh, it's on my director's report. Okay, so let me go to my director's report. Going concern. Oh yeah, we had the add my own that we put in on Tuesday. I now believe I have the correct one that they would like to include in their financials. So let's go and put this disclosure. He's given me the text. So I'm just going to copy this across. So I've got copy and I'm simply just going to paste. And let's see, the directors have expanded operations and intend to ensure continuing operations as a result of accountants being driven by coffee and scrumptious treats. Apparently, it's what gets them through the late nights that turn into early mornings. Definitely know it got me through all those late nights, those lovely cups of coffee. So there we go. We've updated that. On to the next. Auditors have asked, can you have 2 pages for your audit report? They will provide us with one we can replace. But in the interim, add their letterhead and details, please. Okay, so audit report. What does he say? He wants 2 pages. Well, let me do a live preview. Okay, so I've got 1 page. I've got 2. Oh, I see what the problem is. I've got Brew can do it, not the auditor's information. So how do I do that without going and typing over it? Because I know in client setup, we set up audit in a box of cookies. So again, template tools. And all I'm going to do is tell it to apply additional practice to the audit report. There we go. Audit on a box of cookies per Cookie Monster. Done. Letterhead, I know I'll do that when we have to import, and we'll do that kind of towards the end. So I will remember to put the letterhead in, but we can go on to our next query that he has. Let's see. Compilation. Update signatory to my name and my CCO designation. What's his CCO? Oh, Chief Coffee Operator. Okay, so let's go compilation. Again, don't really want to type because I know, I want to do something once, remember it. So in client setup, I'm going to go back to those firm details. And let me just see, I'm sure I saw something. Yes, I did. Firm signatory. We're going to go and put Mr. Moccacino, and his designation is CCO, or as he likes to know himself as Chief Coffee Operator. Right. Let's have a look at my financials. And hey, presto. There we go. Got him up. Next one. Donutters was actually a subsidiary. Please update and make sure it's disclosed. So I remember Donutters. So let's just go and see what we did here. Oh, it was an investment. We took it to listed investments. It was supposed to be a subsidiary. Okay, so let me change that. Now, again, I'm just going to quickly pull up a subsidiary, see if I can find something. There we go. Investment in subsidiary 1. Okay. But obviously, I can't have that disclosed as such. So we need to change that disclosure description to Donutters. So that's what he's asked me to do. And I'm going to select. Yay. I hope I'm doing this right. Let's have a look at our balance sheet and let's see. Investment in subsidiary. Okay, let me just open the note because my financials were open. So I'm just going to prompt it to open it up so long. Let's see if I've got the right thing going. Yes, I see donators. That's what he wanted me to have. I'm happy with that. No, we don't have an investment in a subsidiary or a joint venture. So I close all the non-relevant ones. Great. You should hopefully be happy with that. To match the group, please combine admin and other expenses on the SOCI. Okay, so there's my admin, there's my other. How do I combine it? Again, locked out of doing that. Client setup. I remember seeing something the other day. Let's go and look, see if I can find something. So there's a search button at the bottom here. Quick shortcut. Let's see if I can find anything to do with admin. Hey, merge admin and distribution costs into other expenses. Let's see what this button does. Ooh, I sound like Dee Dee from Dexter's Lab. What does this button do? Well, this button gives me my combined other expenses. Haha, Mr. Marcachino is going to love me because I apparently have a deadline to the end of business today. So, more cake is coming my way, guys. I would share with you, but sadly, virtual cake doesn't really help. Okay. He says to me, please reconcile SOC. Why is it not balancing? I have multiple question marks. I don't know. Let's have a look at the SOC. Again, I'm just going to do a live preview because I want to just kind of get to the crutch of where I'm going wrong. And also remember, I do have my status sheet, guys. So it is telling me that there's a problem. It's not yet reconciled. So I quickly look at their ledger. Oh, they had an issue of equity. So if we remember how our, PPE recons work or anything that's a reconciling nature, if the movement was balance sheet to balance sheet, what am I going to use? Blue cells. So I can see other changes not yet reconciled 50. I just need to go identify my movement area, input the value, and now issue of equity, no longer red telling me, hey, you haven't done something. Check the status too. It's cleared. Now, I could have sworn I balanced my PPE on Tuesday. So what have I done wrong? Okay. Now I need to figure out what has happened here. Ooh, I do see I have a question about cash flow. On the cash flow, my addition of 20,000. Oh, that might be my issue. Auditors have advised to please allocate 20,000 to non-cash flow purchases. Okay, I'm not going to question why, but let's go see. But I'm still confused. Why would my thing be out of balance on my asset recon? We corrected everything. So what did we? Oh, yes, of course. I need to go look at what's out of balance here. What did we do? We had a new addition. So my additions are no longer 27,000, but they're 47,000. So I need to make sure that this is also tying back to my fixed asset register. Okay, let's check the status. I'm still out of balance. Okay, we'll investigate this a bit further, but at least my PPE is out. Let's solve my 20,000 non-cash flow issue. So here's my purchase of property, plant, and equipment. My 132, irrespective of whatever I do, will always be the total of my additions for that current year. But now, of course, my auditors have said 20,000 was non-cash flow. So I need to adjust this figure. But again, it's formulated, but I know that there are yellow cells that I can use to either assist me with a rounding issue or maybe just move something around to get my specific disclosure for my client. Not just to around for fun, but to make sure it aligns to what the client has to disclose. So the auditors told me to do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go and find a blue cell so that I can explain that this 20,000 was non-cash flow or whatever the reason may be. This is all a hypothetical situation. So please, this is purely illustrative. Now I've done that. So have I corrected my step? I'm still out of balance. What could be wrong? Ooh, I see an orange. It's telling me 68, 68. Why does that 68 seem familiar? Let me just see what that cash flow says again. Subsidiaries. All right. We changed our investment to a subsidiary. Now that affects my cash flow slightly different. So now I see, okay, I either have a cash flow used in losing control. We didn't lose control. We definitely obtained control. Okay. Now, again, it's locked out. I don't want to use the yellow cell here because even if I do, and I'm going to show you, yes, I might fix my cash flow, but this orange tan cell is telling me I've got an incomplete note somewhere. So rather not, let's go find the note to correct it. Now I see, okay, it mentions the word business combinations. Where am I going to find that? So I have a shortcut. See if you remember it. Control, Shift, and D. Okay. I want to find this business combinations it's speaking about. Business. Oh, I see business combinations pushing me to notes sheet 3. So I'm going to double click on it. And I see, there we go. It's taken me to business combinations. It is closed. So I'm going to expand it. Right. So what do I need to update here? So we went and we have a subsidiary. So what was the details of the acquisition? Who did we acquire again? Donators. I'll complete the rest because apparently the auditors have the rest of the info for me. But I do want to go and put in my cash flow from the acquisition. So remember, cash flow when we purchasing something is always a negative. So I'm just going to put that in. 8. Let's hold thumbs, guys. No longer have the orange. Okay, cash flow is balancing. I can breathe again.
Welcome back, folks. Nicole, it's going very well. Just a couple of things. We're not going to be doing a Menti like we did on Tuesday. We're going to do the next one again on Tuesday next week, as Clarissa said. But I just want to say thank you to Clarissa for handling the Q&A. I check every now and again. I know there was a message directly addressed to me, which I missed because I'm not quick enough. But see, thank you for just handling that as you do. And folks, I just want to share with you, I don't know anybody who can type as fast as Clarissa. When you hear that keyboard, it sounds like a machine gun. And I asked Nicole earlier if she could type that fast, and she said, oh, yes, no problem. But the problem is what's written doesn't always make sense, and I get it. So not only does Clarissa type fast, but she types accurately as well. And maybe just to clarify with you all, I'm in WhatsApp contact with Clarissa. I send her a message, I get a reply. So she's replying to all the questions that are coming in on the panel as well, and they're all up to date. And then no doubt keeping in contact with WhatsApp because I'm sending WhatsApp messages and probably Slack as well. And Clarissa, please tell me that you're not keeping up to date with your emails at the same time, because then I'm going to be blown away. I wouldn't be surprised if she is. But anyway.
Please tell my boss.
Okay. I'll
In
do
the
that.
recording.
Yeah.
I posted 2 questions for you, Nikki, if you want
Sorry.
to address them before we kick off again.
Nicole, maybe while you're looking at those questions and just, getting that into your mind, can I just chat a little bit about the certificates before you get going? Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead. Please,
Okay,
by all means.
all right. So folks, welcome back. I hope you had a good break. We started hosting these Draftworx series webinars back in January 2017. Can you believe it? It's like 9 years, nearly 10 years that we've been doing this. And up until Tuesday, after we did the last certificate, I did a quick tally, and we have issued, and wait for it, guys, it's a big number. We have issued to date, a whopping 44,047 certificates. Isn't that amazing? 44047 for the auditors that are, like to sort of write something down and quickly do a quick recon to see how many years how many is that per year. Yeah, you do the numbers, you'll see. We did one of those sort of sanity checks, and it does tally up. So 44,047 certificates. And then when you send out a whole lot of certificates like we did on Tuesday, I get quite a few replies, as you can imagine. And there are lots of lovely thank yous. And I thought I would just spend literally just a minute reading some of the thank yous that I received, and that I just thought this is just quite special. For example, some of them are really short and sweet, which is fantastic. Kristen wrote, fantastic. Thank you, Shane. Sandisiwe wrote, hi, Shane. Thank you so much. Best regards and many thanks. Nice short message. And then I think Sandisiwe's footer on her email is quite special. She's written there, stay gentle. Everyone is at war. Isn't that amazing? Stephanie, I think you've attended lots of our webinars, and Stephanie wrote, thanks so much, Shane. Really enjoyed the training so much, and it was so helpful. Looking forward to more. And Stephanie, it's great to see that you are online again today. And then also Atten Kosi, good day, Shane. Thank you for sending us through. I appreciate the slides and the certificate. Regards, Atten Kosi. Carly, thanks, Shane. Much appreciated. Great that you're also able to join us again today. Jolina, thank you for sharing the slides, recording link and certificate. I appreciate it. Thanks again. Best regards, Jolina R. And then last but not least, my last little message that I'm going to read out is from Noel. And Noel, you're also online again today. Dear Shane, thank you for your email, as well as for sharing the presentation, recording link and certificate. I truly appreciate the opportunity to attend the webinar. It was a very productive and insightful session, and I found the practical tips and demonstrations extremely valuable. Please also extend my sincere thanks to Nicole and the entire Data Prime online training team for your generosity in offering such a high-quality training session free of charge. It is a wonderful initiative that genuinely helps accounting professionals continue learning and developing their skills. Thank you once again, and I look forward to attending future sessions. Kind regards, Noel. Noel, thank you for your lovely email, and I hope that you can attend all of our sessions, certainly the ones coming up and going forward into the future as well. It's wonderful to have you online, and everybody online. And I think that's fantastic feedback. Nicole, well done to you and the team. Thank you. Thanks, Clarissa.
Thank you. Thank you, Noel.
Nice feedback. But yeah, I think if you want to just chat to, about those two questions that Clarissa has posted, I'm going to jump off the camera and hand over to you. Thanks so much.
No stress, thank you. Okay, guys, so one of the questions has to do with working papers by looks of it, where you're using snippets. So I'm assuming you're taking screenshots of something, snipping it into the Excel file. Look, we do support images. However, if you are having an issue with this, I would recommend just coming onto the support guys so we can just investigate it a little bit further and see. It might be a restriction on something. It might just not be saving it properly, but definitely something we can look at. And then I got to ask, can we please just show again how to add external working papers to a file? Not a problem. Happy to do that because I actually love it. So I'll do it. I might duplicate a few documents here. Again, just for illustrative, but basically I need to go and locate where my supporting documents are. So in this case, I'm going to steal my Nextra A. I'm going to steal my audit report. I will take the trial balance. So I've got a selection of multiple working papers. I can drag and drop into working papers. Okay, I'd already pulled in my Nextra, so yes, I'm going to overwrite it. And then you will see that I've now got my Nextra, got fixed assets, the audit report, and my trial balance. Another cool way to do it, which I have recently discovered, and again, I will probably just use my tables and info in this respect, copy, and just go to your working papers, right-click it, and paste the file. And now I should be able to see tables and info. Okay, so my dear memo. So we're currently here where we've got okay, so we did done our cash flow. He asked, please make the accounting policies the same as Bruco's financials, as this will form part of the same group. Okay. Now, this is what they've sent me. So does that mean I now need to go and type all of this, make sure that no assets were harmed in the filming of this webinar? Cake was devoured and deemed delicious. It actually was delicious, so good on them. So I now need to go replicate this. How am I going to do it? Let me jump back into my file. So here's my accounting policies. I can see, okay, I've got a whole lot of stuff going on here, but now I really don't feel like retyping. Mr. Cookie Monster wants this by 5 o'clock today, so I don't have much more time to dilly-daddle. So let's find a shortcut. Okay. In my content, I have an option called Import Worksheet. Now, please note, when I use this option, it overwrites the entire sheet. So only use this if you are entirely wanting to make sure that, for example, your accounting policies align with someone else's accounting policies. If I were to go and do it on my notes and I had customized something, I would have to re-customize it if I just overwrote that document. So handle with care. So import worksheets. I would then go find the location of the file that I wish to copy from. So I've got Mr. Brew Co. here. I need the 2026 file. There we go. We have it from yesterday. So I'm going to go and open the file, go to my financial data, go to Draftworx Files, and tell it to choose the financials. And what do I want to replace here? Accounting policies. So just scroll down. There's accounting policies. Select. And well, would you look at that? No assets were harmed in the filming of this webinar. Yeah. So now I've got my same setup. All right. What was my next query? We've done the accounting policies. Great. Please update the finance lease note. Finance lease. Where am I going to find my finance lease? So I like to go to my balance sheet, jump to my note because it makes it quicker for me. And I see, all right, finance lease, he says, okay, so it is secured over a coffee machine with a net value repayable within the next 12 months. So I'm going to just copy that and paste. I just want to correct the full stops there. So I've now gone and input my disclosure for my finance lease, but he added an interesting pointer. So let me just see. I want to insert a row so that I at least have a space. I like things to have a little bit of space, so I can always right-click, add a row. He says to me, what does he say? Oh, please ensure it's classified as current. Right. Oh, yeah, it's going to be settled within the next 12 months. But it's still sitting as a non-current. What am I going to do? So again, I'm going to use my shortcut, drill down. Oh no, I'm not going to use it here. Sorry. I've got to go back to my trial balance. I'm going to look for my finance lease. Okay. And I see, okay, there's my finance lease. It's a non-current. But remember what we did on Tuesday. I don't want to change my 2025 disclosure, only 2026's. So I'm going to go look for my NL.719 because I want them to go to the same thing. Sorry, not the NL. I want to look for 719. And I see, okay, there's my current asset. Nope, it's not an asset. Current liability, yes. I want to take it to a current portion. How am I going to do that without affecting 2025? I'm going to select my link, say current only. There we go. It says current. Let's just see what the financials look like. Have I messed it up? Okay. Still got the same finance lease note, but the correct disclosure. There we go. Non-current for last year, current for this year. They should hopefully be happy with that. Check the rest of the note. All seems good. Great. Now they need me to add a note. So now I need to go and build my own note. So let's see. Please add a note before profit from operating activities. So again, just can't remember where that is. So I'm going to use the Control-Shift-D. Would help if I clicked on the actual application. And I want to find, what am I looking for? Profit from, see my spelling, terrible. Okay. Okay, so there's my profit from operating activities. I'm going to jump to that note. Great. What did they say? Add it before doing a split between the GP percentage for the different income statements. Interesting. So I've got 2 income statements that, so I'm going to add about, let me add about 10 rows just to be certain. So I'm going to go design, insert rows, and I'm going to add 10. I'm not quite sure how big I want this note yet, so let me at least get that set up. But now I see, when I've inserted, all my lines are now merged straight across. And of course, I need to put figures in the current and the prior columns. So just go select all the rows, go to format, and just simply unmerge my cells, okay? But now I would like it to be in the same format as above. So again, I'm just going to select my rows over here, stick to what Draftworx has, just tell it to go merge across. And now I've got the same setup as the note above. Great. What are we calling this? We are calling this GP comparison. All right. And what do we have? We have coffee. We have confectionery. Okay. Now I want to kind of set this up so that I make sure it's automated and I don't have to think about this all the time. So what I'm going to currently do is I'm going to go to my detailed income statement. Why? Well, there's my gross profit. There's my figure. I want to build a formula, but I want to not go and make it quite a nice, easy formula so that should anything change, it always updates. So what I'm going to introduce us to now is in my developer, creating a named range. So I'm going to call this copy GP current year. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the prior. And we're going to go copy GP prior. Okay. And you'll see that when I do, it's given me a little bit of a naming. Great. Okay. So now anytime I use that reference, it'll pull that through. Let me do the same for my others. I'm just going to go CF, current year and prior. So again, create a name range. You can see the cell says H146. I'm going to tell it I want it to be named something else. So we are going to say confectionaries, GP current year. I called that prior, my bad. And this one I'm going to go and call it. I'm swapping them around, but I'll remember that. Okay, so now I've got my, sorry, my name range was exactly the same. So if you do create a name range that's the same, it will duplicate, will not duplicate, but move to the correct cell. Let me just correct my little mistake here. Current year. There we go. Okay, now let's go build this note. So if I go and say equals, what did I say? Coffee. How did I get this little prompt up? It's already like preempting what my formula is going to be. So let me take us back a step. In my developer mode, you see there's an option here where it tells me I can show or hide my formula toggle. So if that's off, it doesn't give me a prompt, okay? But when it's on or active, I can now go and prompt it and say equals copy, and it'll find me my name range that I created. So I'm just going to put that in for now. We're going to build onto it. So we're going to do the same equals coffee, prior, yes, please, equals our confectionaries, GP current year, yes, we go, equals code. I just need to find my, oh, I didn't have one. Okay, let me quickly create the name range. That one didn't work properly. So let me just go add one. Okay, and we go back to our note and we preempt it again. Now I've got my priors. Okay, so I've gone and I've formulated it so that if those change, this is going to update irrespective. Okay, now I can go and say, all right, what about, I need to work out the GP percentage actually. So here's my gross profits. That's great. But how do I go and do the percentages? So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste, and I say, well, let's go to design, and I'm going to insert my sales figures. So I'm going to build onto my formula. I've got an idea. So let's see if it's going to work. Might be genius, might fail, but let's see what happens. So I go to design, I insert my sales because we know GP is obviously related to your sales. So I go do the same for my confectionaries, select it. You just want to make sure that this doesn't show negative because I'd like to see a positive percentage when I get there. Okay, no, I don't want the final. Okay, and again, just do that and just make it a negative. Okay, so now I've got my sales. Now let's do another 2 rows. I don't know, this is my percentage, sorry. Now I want to combine these 2 formulas. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to take my copy that, okay, go to my cell, edit, in, okay, take out the extra equals, and just tell it to divide. There we go, that seems great. Yes, I'm happy with the formula. We'll turn it into a percentage in a second. And we are going to basically do the same over here. Copy that. Okay. Go and put this in. There's like a bracket there. Yep. And got figures, but they don't look great. What am I going to do? Select the cells, go to format, format cells, and okay, I could say Draftworx, but that would give me values, but I want percentage. Okay, now I can then go and obviously just let me get these in a Draftworx format so that they align, and I will just make sure that the same thing happens over here. Now I can go and I can copy this, I can paste this, and in my developer formatting, I'm going to take a year away from my sum account. So minus a year, I'm now comparing my GP for, the priors, but I actually just need to go and change my reference here, not to current year, but rather to prior year. There we go, build that up. There we go. And that one's still current. Change that to prior year. Now I've got the correct references. And they are my GP percentages. I think that's what they were looking for. We will see. I would like the headings to look a little bit the same. And obviously I need a note number because I want the format the same. So I can format Painter so I get decent headings. Now I just need to go and say, all right, I need a note number. So this should be 19. But if I say 19, I've got 2 19s. So what do I do here? So whenever I create or insert or build my own note, I do need to group it. As you can see with all the squares, we group all our little notes. So I need to go group. When I group, I always, always, always select everything below the heading. And then I tell it to go design, group note. So that when I group it, my grouping sign is in line with the heading. The heading is important. Now we can tell it to auto number. Now I've got automation happening. Okay, so where we go, we've got that's done. Right. Open related parties and directors' salaries. So I can go also. Here's another navigation for notes. Let's see if I can find related parties. This does go per pay or per sheet. So I'm going to look at this one. There's related parties. Can it jump me to it? Yes, it does. Now I see, okay, it is closed. Let's open it. Okay. What did I have to do? Oh, let's open it. Group companies. So of course, there's some references to our subsidiary that we have. And they wanted me to show the director's remuneration, which I don't currently have, but I'm going to open it. they will complete this for me. But there I've now opened and expanded my note. They will tell me how to update that a little bit later. Okay, great. Please please insert the attached statistics and table information as a note, but make sure it's the last note and they are separate, not combined. Okay, let's see. Where is that table that he was talking about? Here we go. Okay, let's have a look at what this lovely little table looks like. Now, tables are always fun to make in Draftworx. Okay, so I see I've got a whole lot of stuff here. We've got statistics, which is note 1 and 1, 2. Units sold. Okay, cool. Let's get this copied and pasted into our system. So he said the last note. Well, I'm on notes sheet 3. Related parties was the last thing. So I'm going to use an existing note, additional note 1. We're going to call this the statistics, if we can spell correctly. So we'll call it statistics, but that's definitely not enough lines. So I think this is about, let's go for it. We'll add an extra 2. So I've got 52 rows. Okay, not a problem. So I've got, let's go and just add another 45. So again, insert my rows in design mode, and we'll say, let's insert 45. Okay. Okay, now I've got all my stuff. So surely this is as easy as copy paste. Great, let's do this. Gonna get this done quick. Gonna copy, Control C, gonna paste, Control V. Ew, that didn't go as planned. Looks a bit messy. Let's just see what it looked like when I print it. Oh, that is definitely not going to give anyone a happy feeling. I've got reds in between. What have I done wrong? Okay, so when I am copying from Excel or something to that effect, you'll notice that all our notes have these tiny little columns in between everything. And that's a spacer. It just prevents something overlapping. So I'm going to undo what I've just done. Okay, we're not going to paste it like that. I'm going to paste it bit by bit. So for example, I'm going to go and we'll copy all of these because this is all in one column. I'm happy with that. So copy. Let's go back to our file and I'm going to paste. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with that. Oh, and look at that. My estimation worked out great. Didn't need to add extra columns. I feel happy. I am going to copy. Let's do my other. Okay, so we'll start with you. And we'll go and copy. And we're going to just paste this one column at a time so that I'm taking into consideration those lovely little spaces that I have. And we're going to do the next one. And I'm actually going to use the whole column in this one's case. So we'll start with decaf. And we're going to jump to our file. We go decaf. And we're going to go to our next column. Paste him in, and we are going to copy the third and final column. Yay! Okay. Hopefully it is going to look slightly better than what I had earlier. Now I've got, okay, let's just see, is it what we were at least expecting, hopefully? All right. Okay, I see my columns, nothing's overlapping. Oh, I have a little bit of a something weird happening there. Oh dear, what am I going to do there? I'd like them combined. Okay, so let's fix that problem first. So I see I have a whole lot of empty space here. So I see my table here is split between 2 taxios. So let's split it. In my print layout, I'm going to insert a page break, and I'm going to see a little bit better. There we go. I've now gotten rid of some empty space. But now I've got 2 tables on 2 different pages, and I actually like my headings to follow through. So how do I get my headings to follow through? It's as simple as this. I'm now going to, again, create a named range, but I'm going to continue my heading here. So how I do that is I select again everything below the heading that I'm looking at. And I'm going to go and say, go all the way down. And I am going to go to template. Nope, sorry, developer. And I'm going to create a named range. And I'm going to call this table 7. Okay, right. And at the top here, where I've got my details and where the heading is, I'm going to, in column B, create a named range that says table 7 underscore repeat headers. Okay. Let's see if I've hopefully now got my continuation of my heading. Okay. So there's my total, details, other cakes. And let's scroll down to, oh, no. Obviously, I must have spelled something wrong. Give me a second, guys. Me and my spelling issues. Okay. Let me just fix my, it's repeat header. Let me just quickly go back. Okay, so it's not headers, it's header. Like I said, me and my spelling, I am surprised I made it through anything in life. Okay, so here we go. Again, it's not working. Sorry, guys. Let me just quickly pull one across and show you. I think I broke my named range here. Let me just select this. Let me just quickly show you the effect of it. Hold on 1 second. Just want to get it. I've just messed up my name. So it should be table 7 underscore repeat header. And you will still go and select all of those and it becomes table 7. Okay. Now, if you do your live preview, you will see that you've got your split on your page where your details and your heading show. If you do struggle with that, our lovely support team would have been able to help me fix whatever spelling mistake I made. So I do apologize. Me and my spelling needs to definitely go back to school for that one. Now, the other thing he wanted was the notes to be separate. Okay, so I need to give sub notes. How do we give sub notes? So same principle applies. I'm going to go and select everything under a main heading. And I'm going to go design and I'm going to say group note, auto number. So now that becomes 25.1. Okay, confectionaries, let's do the same thing. Great. Again, group note, auto number, 25.2. Right, my total. Let's go and select my note. And again, group note and auto number. The subnote stuff is easy. Oh, wait, I forgot. He actually said they need to be separate and not combined. So he wanted statistics and confectionaries for coffee, actually, to be the same, but total units needs to be a completely new note. But now it's part of 25.3. I want it to be 25.6. So what am I going to do? Well, I know we've got a group and ungroup stuff. So I'm simply actually just going to tell it to please ungroup my note here. Okay. And ungroup one more time. And now I've got my note number being 26. I've successfully separated it. Okay. Please reconcile the tax calc. Make sure we don't have any adjustments and we taxed at the right rates. So tax calc, let's just have a look. So if we were a SBC, I would indicate yes. Okay. I need to just tell it which tax year is an SBC, because the minute you tell it yes, you will see that it goes and calculates your tax at the different rates. However, we are not an SBC. So nope, this is not applicable to me. I go and I look and I say, right, do do I have any adjustments? Now, we've got debit adjustments, we've got credit adjustments. Doesn't look like we've included a lot, but I promise you that every single one of these adjustments that would show up on your e-filing return is included in a lovely little drop down. You just need to find the relevant one for the adjustment you need to make. Okay. And it'll tell you if you need to insert it as a negative or a positive amount in the blue cells. Now, what happens if I had a capital gain or an assessed loss? Not a problem. There's a calculation down below that I would make use of. So you can see I have a limitation applicable. I can go and calculate, obviously, if I had an assessed loss, need to go and put through it as a negative so that it accounts for it accordingly. I didn't have any assessed losses, so I'm not going to use it. If you have a capital gain tax, input your proceeds, your base costs, and just let that pull through to the calculation at the top. My income tax, I'm 100% happy with. It does not directly go to my income statement. If it was different, I would need to correct it. I see, according to their statement of account, they did not make any provisional tax payments, but they did settle their debt from last year, which was 360,886. So payments, negatives, any refunds would be positive. Go and make sure, no longer have a SOFP difference. And if I look at my status as a final check, I think I'm happy with my AFS. So I'm going to turn my status off now because now I'm pretty much done. He just asked 4 more things for me to do. Please double check that the notes are in sequence. Notes are in sequence. Okay. Balance sheet. Let's just see. I've got 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, 14, 11. Okay. So if I do want to move a note around so that it is in sequence, it is very much possible by jumping to a particular note. So if, for example, my investment in subsidiary, I wanted to be, again, hypothetical here, I'm going to change it to note 6. I would go jump to my note, go to my design, and I can tell it to move down or up until I get my changed numbers. So now it's 6, that's 5. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do that because I've just reversed the order, but I did want to show that that option is available for us to use. Okay. No missing disclosure updates. So in your template tools, there is something we want to just highlight that you are able to do. It does require a login, but we've got the option to apply a disclosure update. So if my brew can do it, needed 2027 tax updates, I would tick the option, apply the update, and it would run it for me. It will create a backup of your file so you can always revert back to it. Another thing you can do, so remember I said we like to give you a little bit of independence, we like to let you have the power at your own hands, is if for argument's sake I had a lot more bank accounts than just the 5 that I have available, I can go and tell the system to increase my bank accounts from 5 to 25. What this will do is it will add the links to your trial balance so that you're able to select it while updating your note for you. So you have it done almost instantly. It does require a login because it is a structural change, but as I said, it does do a backup for you. Okay, so we are good to go there. Please add the addendum to the end of the drafts and make sure they are marked draft. Okay, so we're done with our financials. Let's look at our preview because now all of this seems to relate to my previews. Need to put the headers on. And let's have a look, see. So he said to me, I need to include my addendum, mark it as draft. So how do I mark the financials as draft? So here on your All tab is a watermark. If you tick it, you will see that I have the wording draft. Okay. And it's going to go and stamp all my pages. And because I'm me, I'm going to go and change it to a different color. I want to see it in blue. Okay. Right. There we go. It sticks out. It's draft. Okay, I've done that. What else did he want? Okay, we're going to add the addendum because temporarily replace my audit report with the attached example. So when we imported the files, I have an audit report here. Okay. And I have an addendum or the annexure A. Okay, so I need to somehow get these two PDF documents combined with this set of financials. How do I do that? Good question. So in the tab at the top here, you'll see we have all cover, letterheads, etc. There's an option called inserts. Now, for the audit report, interim, we are going to click on the three dots. We're going to go find our audit report, and we're going to give it the action to replace it. And this, we're going to see what's going to happen now. So now, if I go look at my audit report, there we go. We survived the audit, guys. Well done. Congratulations. Definitely don't feel like looking like that at the end of this year, but hey, we only got 6 months to go, so hang in there. He also said the annexure needs to be added at the end of the financials. So that's my income tax. It's page 29. How do I add it at the end? So tax calc, 3 little dots, and I see, okay, there's my annexure. I select it. And I go and I say, do I want to prepend? So prepend will put it before the tax return or tax calc. Replace, as we saw, will take the thing and completely replace it. Append will put it at the end. And I need to page number on it. So let's just see now what's happened. So here's my income tax. Okay. Yeah, is my highly confidential information that they want, but no page number. So what do I do? If I have a blank document without a page number, okay, you'll see we've got a footer option. The minute I tick the footer, it is going to insert the page number. So that helps when your auditors give you multiple blank, well, not blank pages, there's lots of writing on it, but blank in the sense of page numbers. You can tell it to add the footer. Okay, and you don't have to worry about trying to remember which page number it will do. It will solve itself accordingly. Okay, so we've done that. We've got the addendum in. It's marked as draft. Make sure we use our letterheads where applicable. Logos, please. Make sure note numbers are not in the margin for all the relevant pages, and then share the settings to the cloud for me. Okay, but I have I've got Bruco's letterheads. I need our own letterheads. So what am I going to do? So I select a letterhead number. Let's get our logo. Header image, select the 3 dots. Where are my lovely little images? Let's see. Bruco. Hopefully the images are here. There we go. There's my company logo. Let's pull it in. He says he wants it centered. So header image, position, middle center. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then let's just go to letterhead number 6. Again, the 3 dots. I need to include his lovely letterhead from his desk. So again, there's my letterhead for Brew. Go pull that in. And now I just need to tell the financials where I want those images to go. So image number 5 needs to go on my cover. What I need to remember is that I can only apply one image to one of these at a time. I can, however, apply the same image to multiple pages. So you can always have more than one tick going down, but never more than one tick going across. So yes, page number 5 is my cover. And page number 6 was our letterhead. Let's just see if we're doing okay. We're going to do a preview again. So let's just see. Cover. Yep, there. Our lovely little logos in. Happy little cups of coffees there. Look at my report of the compiler. Yep, we've got that in. Haha, Mr. Mochaccino. It's a beautiful day for coffee and cake. Indeed it was. Okay, so I've done that. But now he said to me, I need to make sure that the note numbers are not in the margin. Oh, I'm assuming he's meaning these note numbers. 1 here, my accounting policies, and of course my notes. Okay, so I need to not have it in the margin. So in other words, I want to have it here. So I go to notes and you'll see there's a note numbers option. So it says yeah, note number position original. I don't want original. I want it to prepend. Now for a new feature recently added, you'll see that when I've said prepend to note, my notes numbers have moved on my notes sheet, as have my accounting policies. Did my director? Oh, my directors didn't. But wait, there's more. Apply to notes. However, I can apply to all sheets now. And dun-dun-dun-dun, yay! My directors is now showing my note numbers where Mr. Mochaccino wanted them to go. However, now last question he said was, please share the settings to the cloud for me. So I just want to go over this little button while you're in preview mode. So basically what I'm able to do is if I log in as a manager, okay, I can ultimately ensure that I share exact setup here. So in other words, how my letterheads are stored, what's their position, how I set up, how I like my note numbers. I can actually go share these settings to anyone. So when it says firm preview options, I can go tell it to save to the cloud. Yes, it's going to save that. Okay. I'm then going to tell it do the same for the letterheads. So save to my cloud and it'll save it to my firm. Now I get a new staff member or Mr. Mochaccino hasn't got these setups on his computer. What is he going to do? Well, in this case, you don't need to be logged in as a manager because you'll see your share settings. I can load my preview options from the cloud. I can load my letterheads so that what I have matches identical to whomever else has Draftworx in my firm. Great. We are now on the last one. Save and send ASAP and make a backup. So, okay, we know how to make a backup. Oh, they want to do a consolidation estimate. Okay. So now I'm going to save my preview. So print, and you can see I can go save it as a PDF. Quite happy with my financials. Let me put it on the desktop. I'll email it to Mr. Mochaccino in the next couple of minutes. We've met our deadline and Mr. Cookie Monster will hopefully be a happy champ. Great. That covers our financials. Now we're going to dive into a topic that is not quite like your cash flow where it sends as much shivers. It is still quite a daunting task when we get to it, and that is foreign currency translation. So I just want to close a couple of my files here, guys, so that we are not disturbed when I do this, because we're now diving into consolidations and foreign currency translations. Okay, so there's that one. I just want to make sure I close some files here. Okay. And you guys are able to see the beauty that is foreign currency. I know it is a scary, scary topic. It's okay. But what we do when it comes to foreign currency. So let's see. We've got Frappe Foreign Currency Translation 2026. Yes, we're going to open that one. And I'm just going to open another one. So when it comes to foreign currency, okay, yes, the fear is there and the confusion. Okay, trust me, that's what I look like on a daily basis. You can ask my colleagues. Right, so before we even begin with foreign currency, I just want to open the next tax year file on the other side here. Before you even consider translating the file. Now remember, foreign currency is, I've got a trial balance in one currency, but my reporting currency is something else. I need to make sure that my exchange rates are set up correctly. So you need your current year spot rates, your prior year spot rates. These are all relative to your balance sheet. Your average rate, current year and prior year, are always used for your income statement. Okay? So let's take that into consideration right now. So we've got, I'm on 2026, yes. Okay. So here's my 2026 file. I see, okay, great. We've got normal looking financial statements. Awesome. Let's just open it and see, because I need to show you the status sheet, because this is where the horror comes from FCTR. So here, I'm currently in rands. This should be reported in dollars, but ignore, I haven't done the PPE, but note that my retained income is correct. Okay, keep that in mind. Working trial balance. There's a tab at the top here called foreign currency translation. Now, what did we say? We need to set up our currency. Okay, so you'll see foreign currency setup, and you can go put the currency symbol, the currency description. You'll see there's an annual where you will go put the spot rate as at the end of that tax year you are doing, the average rate for the year, and don't forget to update your prior one and prior two if applicable. Okay, right. So what I want us to remember is in 2026, my current spot rate is 0.85. Okay, so I want to open 2027 and pull them onto the side. Okay, there we go. And if you look at my currency, now we are in 2027, guys. My spot rate is still 85 and 75. In other words, this is 2026's spot rate. This is 2025's. So in 2027, I need to make sure that this spot rate is for 2027, and I update this prior to identically match what my 2026 file has. Okay, so we've done that. We've set it up. Also, there is a monthly table that you can apply if you are doing monthly management files, which we will also still have a little bit of time to show. I've got it all set up for you guys. Now, FCT is quite daunting because what do? So once we've set up our currency, we're going to toggle the foreign currency. Now you'll see I have an extra column on my trial balance, and it says FCT final. Okay, and there's my 2026 final. So 2026 final is my rands. FCT final is my figures translated at the spot rate. But Draftworx creates an account for me called FCT, and it takes it to the foreign currency translation reserve. Okay, so keep in mind, roll forwarding a file, you need to make sure your rates update. Otherwise, it's going to give you inconsistent financial statements. When you activate your FCT, that FCT account is a system balancing account that Draftworx uses. Now, why does retained earnings change? Why would I have a slide like that? Well, let's jump back to my translated financials. Now I have a retained earnings issue. Why is that? Okay, so remember, when we translate your financial statements, the retained earnings might not be a balance. It's expected, and it's because different exchange rates are used. So remember, balance sheet at spot rate, income statement at average. So it results in that difference. And to correct it, we need to just ensure that once we identify that difference, we need to go and create a separate trial balance entry. So we'll go to our trial balance and we will add our own foreign currency translation account, and we will link it to a foreign currency translation reserve. We do not post journals to the system account, because if we do, it messes with your translation. Okay, so you have to create that in order to resolve your retained earnings issue. Right. That brings us to the end of FCTR. I will also ensure that the slides are available for this presentation. Okay, next one. Let's go and dive into consolidations. Everyone's favorite enemy besides cash flow and foreign currency and retained earnings, it seems. So when it comes to consolidations, guys, I have here a file called Daily Buzz. Okay, they consolidated hot chocolate and cappuccino. Okay, now I've rolled forward my 2025 file to 2026, and you can see I've got a consoli framework. So I'm now going to consolidate it. Okay, but I have a note from their director. They acquired a new subsidiary too in 2026. So if I go to my trial balance, you'll see that over here, I've got my already consolidated entities from 2025, cappuccino and hot chocolate. There their figures are, okay? But now I need to do 2026. So when I say consolidate, okay, we can see cappuccino and hot chocolate. Yep, they were included. So I'm going to find cappuccino for 2026. Yes. What was cappuccino? They the holding company. What was hot chocolate? They were my subsidiary. And of course, we've added Mochaccino Pty Limited to the group. So I'm going to select him as the third one. Now, a very crucial thing. I need to deselect these two, okay? It isn't going to change your prior figures. It just enables me to do the consolidation with the new addition. So I'm going to tick it. What would you like to remove? I just want to remove that from my consolidation list. Are you sure? Yes. Do I want to do the same for hot chocolate? Yes. So I'm just simply removing from my consolidation. Okay. I've got holding, subsidiary 1, subsidiary 3, and the contribution here remains 100. It doesn't relate to the contribution of their equity. It is 100%. Well, it is 100 there. Okay. We don't change it to say 80, 60, 40 anymore. That is because you have to process eliminating journal entries into the consolidation file regardless. So that stays as 100. I'm now going to consolidate. Do I want to include prior years? No, not in this instance, because my prior years are correct. And I don't want to include Mochaccino's prior year because they are only being consolidated from this year. So I'm going to consolidate. And it's going to run its thing. Okay. There we go. Now we see, here's my Mochaccino. There's all my figures. They're in, and they're only in for 2026. And there are the rest of my figures all coming in from my holding, from my subsidiaries. All my linking agrees to the standalone files. Now, just a couple of general tips when it comes to consolidations. If I want to process journals and I'm wondering why on earth, when I open my financials, my subsidiary or my company figures are not being adjusted, it is simply this. if you process journals into a consolidation file, okay, they only affect the group figures. If I need my holdings or my subsidiaries to be adjusted on a trial balance line entry scenario, I need to go back to the source file, process the journals in the individual file, and then just simply go to consolidate. Now, I don't need to reconsolidate when I've made changes. I can just tell it to refresh your opening balances. If I've gone and changed link numbers inside the consolidation file to suit a specific disclosure, but then we decide, no, we want to change it, you can then refresh your link numbers so they match your standalone files. Okay, right. That's consolidating something that we had previously consolidated. Another tip, remember when it comes to your status, horror moments, don't stress. What do we know from what we've done in the last things? I need to go to the notes. When you consolidate a file, we're consolidating the trial balance. I still need to go and say, okay, great. What were my additions? What were all the movements? So that the notes fix, your cash flow reconciles, and you are able to have those. So if in your standalone files, you have movements here, remember, you need to come in, apply those movements to the cash flow. We don't pull that information in. I'm going to do a fresh consolidation because that was existing. So let's just do a nice, clean, new consolidation. So consolidation files. Sorry, I just want to quickly check what my info was. Oh yeah, it was called Brood Awakening. Okay, we are now consolidating our Brew Co, our Brew Can Do It, and the Coffee King. So I've got Brood Awakening. My framework is going to be a IFRS SME console. Also, while we're on that, please remember that if I consolidate an IFRS file, I can consolidate my SMEs into it. But I cannot consolidate IFRS into SME because there will be missing links. IFRS is a lot more detailed. So please, if you have any questions about that or you're concerned about that setup, you are more than welcome to check in on us and we can just guide you in that respect. However, I'm going to create my Brood Awakening and we are now going to quickly consolidate because this was also required by dear old Mr. Cookie Monster. And lastly, we're going to handle a bit of management accounts and then you guys are good to go. So not as long as the other day, almost to the end of it, guys. Thank you for sticking in. I know you have places to be and we do appreciate you being online with us. Okay, so clean consolidation, financial data, working trial balance, no trial balances. Great. What am I doing? I'm going to go to consolidate. And what did we say? We said, oh yeah, we've got Bruco 2026. So there we go, Bruco 2026. He's our holding company. Brew Can Do It was a subsidiary. And then we have the Coffee King, and he was another subsidiary. So selected my relevant companies. I'm going to tell it to consolidate. This one, however, because it's my first consolidation, I would like to see my prior years. Why? So that cash flow can automate, also bring in all your previous figures so you don't spend hours trying to consolidate it. And I'm going to tell it to go and consolidate for me. And there we go. I can now see Brew Can Do It, Brew Co. And I've got all my figures in. I've got all my referencing. So I can go and open my financials. and I can quickly get a draft set out, remembering that whatever I did in my standalone files, I need to go and apply to my consolidation. Right. Last one, or last main file we're going to go through today, guys, is a management set of financials. Now, I did see a question today raised about how do we change dates. So I have got a lovely example for management accounts when I can remember which file it is. There we go. Management apps. You will see that my framework is for an annual set of financials. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show us two ways to do this one. Obviously, my financials will now, oh, I'm missing links. Sorry. I forgot I have a trial balance in there. I just haven't linked it. Now, obviously, my financial statements, okay, are set to March to February. So jump to my financial years. I see March to February. These financials, I actually want 5 months. So the other day when I said we never change this year-end date unless the year-end is not February. Okay. Don't change the date unless your year-end is not what it should be. Okay. If I'm doing management accounts, I'm going to apply the following principle. I'm going to change my reporting period to the number of months these management accounts apply to. This is when I want a full comprehensive set of financials with notes, with cash flows, with policies, everything. I change my reporting period. Yes. What did I break? You didn't break anything. It's just taking us back to our mainframe because we've said it's 5 months. Okay, let's go back in. And now I set up how I want my financials to look. So again, client setup, and I am busy doing financials to the end of July. So I'll go financial years, and I'm not changing year end. I'm changing my financial period override. And I'm just going to change it to July 2025 quickly. Otherwise, we're doing forward projected financials here. So I changed it to July. That we're going to keep to February 2025 because that's what those figures are. And I'm going to tell it, you are management accounts. Okay. So I've now set up my management accounts. In my trial balance, in this particular example, I've used a direct import for Xero. So I'm going to quickly log in. Let me just pull that to the side. Okay. Because I've got some lovely monthly management stuff in my Xero. And again, we're just showing that we can import and work with other integrated apps. Okay, it's just asking me, are you sure it's me? So I am just verifying myself. Yes, it is me. Thank you for checking. And it basically says, do you want to allow access for 30 minutes? Yes, I do, especially because it's a two-way service. And then I'm going to jump to my financials. Now I'm going to tell it that I would like to import monthly balances. Okay. I did do the automatic linking earlier with our Sage. I'm going to do a different one just in case anyone missed anything on Tuesday. But I'm going to say from date, March 2025 to July. Okay, so we're going to just do up to July. And I'm going to say import. Okay. Now I see, okay, great. I've got opening balances here and I've got transactions. How do I see those transactions? Periods, monthly trial balance, and it can show me what has been happening for those particular periods. Okay. Now, for anyone that missed the first session, I do have a quick way to link. So I'm going to use smart linking. Okay. Now I have a linked trial balance. I don't know if it's correct. I would verify it. But if I now go to my financials, you will see that by setting it up, it tells me I have management statements for the 5-month period ended 31 July 2025. I know that those figures are for 28th of Feb. There's my figures for 31 July. And then if you look at your income statement, it tells you 5-month versus 12-month. Right. Now, this is for scenarios where your bank or somebody wants you to give them a full comprehensive set. Cash flows, notes, the detailed income statement, everything. What about where I just want to see a 12-month analysis comparative between the two? So I've already pulled all my information in here, so I can actually run both concurrently. So I'm just going to close my financials because I need to pull this in from my client setup. Now, in your client setup, you will see that there's an option called Import Monthly Management Pack. Okay, and it tells me it's complete. Now I see I have a monthly management pack. Great. So what this is going to do is, it is going to enable me to maintain my normal annual financial statements. Also, giving me a monthly, month-by-month analysis and comparative. So there's your balance sheet, monthly movement only. You've got your balance sheet, which is the accumulated values. You've got the ability to import budgeted figures where you can compare actual to budgeted. And we've also got the ability to compare actual to prior year figures. You've got your normal SOCR, you have your detailed income statement. And that would be the end of the monthly management packs. Last and not least, our support. Again, what happens if I had imported this and it's not printing how I want it to print? Remember, support request. If you email a support request, you document what is needed and you book out support. It will send the file to our support team. They will receive it. It will lock it on your side as a read-only version. Okay. And that's just for security to make sure we don't overwrite any work you are doing. I see a lot of soccer fans going on. So you'll book out the support, they will receive it, and they will have 30 minutes to 4 hours turnaround time to complete your request. Okay. Now, that's not what I need. I need something straight away. So if I want to get immediate assistance and not rely on a VAR, all you soccer fans, remote support, launch remote support. Okay. Now, what this does is it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? I promise you guys, we're not trying to dive into your computer, anything like that. We just want to see your screen because it helps us to help you faster. And for all you lovely fans, I see Argentina is winning, so I'm going to go with Mrs. Messi. Okay, I can only but dream. Our support hours are 8 to 5, Mondays to Fridays. That session code, it's going to populate automatically. If it is not, give us a call or pop us an email at support@draftworx.com and you will click on the chat box. Okay. Now we can go and we can say, ooh, not rude, red. Okay. Message will be sent to our team. Someone is going to respond to you. Okay. Okay. Or let me just let her connect. Okay. So you'll see that someone's going to join me and maybe just help me widen the columns. Let's just see what happens. So just waiting for my connection to come through. Seems like my team viewer is giving me a little bit of trouble. Oh, something's going on with my team viewer. Okay. There should be an incoming support request, guys. Sorry. Again, seems like my internet. Oh, there we go. Incoming connection. Okay. Allow access. And I just need to move them to this side. And there you go. You can chat to them. Okay. And they would be able to take control of the PC, help you with your problem. Just remember, I'm going to say thank you to our lovely support. Okay, because these guys are always there to help you. This request can take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, unless, of course, your question is quite detailed and you do need assistance further from that. But what I must just remind you of is please be aware that we cannot give accounting advice. So if I had asked to please show me how to balance my financials because I was 5 billion out, and even if it was as obvious as where we should take it because that color is blue, we are not allowed to help you guys, unfortunately. We can guide you the best that we can, but we cannot give that advice. And that brings me to the end of this session, unfortunately. However, guys, please know we still have 3 more webinars coming up. We do have our cloud ones next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So please be free to join. Also, we have the RAC webinars the Tuesday following. So all our audit firms, if you'd like to see a few new things, especially with some of the changes on those working papers, please join us. We love having you. And have a great day. And good luck to all the soccer fans. Sunday is going to be a rough one by looks of all the emojis.
Oh, thanks, Nicole. That was awesome. Thanks, Clarissa, as well. And then, of course, thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon. It's been a fantastic session. And what a great resource this is going to be, just to be able to go through things again. Nicole, you make it look too easy, man.
It's you guys. You guys make it so easy to do this. I love teaching.
No, we can see that. Thank you so much. All right, take care, everybody, and we'll see you online again, hopefully on Tuesday, for those of you going to be joining us for the first cloud session. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.